and Lisa Shanahan. So far, Darlene Young has not joined us. I'll make note when she does. And myself, Barbara Smith. Public input is the next item on the agenda. Do we have anyone joining us who would like to speak tonight? Doesn't look like it.
I am not seeing any.
Okay. All right, so we'll just close public input and move on to new business. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the Public Works Committee meeting of Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. Would someone like to move it, please? Ms. Shanahan moves it. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions, comments? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
And just waiting on Ms. Najelski-Eichner. Nora, are you there? All right, well, the minutes pass regardless. Okay, moving on to item number 2. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a poll attachment agreement with the 3rd taxing district and any other documents necessary for the purposes of governing use of the city's municipal gains right on the 3rd taxing district utility polls. Would someone like to move that, please? Mr. Livingston moves the item. And then I will turn this over to Ms. Valadares just to talk about this. This is essentially like an easement on the poles for the hanging, is it hanging the
Fiber,
utility?
the city fiber, yeah.
Right, fiber, that's what it is. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So as Mrs. Smith stated, usually all the utilities own some of the poles. This one is 3rd taxing district. We need to move some of the fiber to new poles that will be installed, and actually some that we already have that we need to reattach. We do not have any agreement with them. This is a very common thing that everyone that get attached to a pole does with the utility that owns it. So it's just a document that needs to be formally filed.
Mr. Livingston has a question.
Yeah, just a quick question, Vanessa. These are city-owned wires?
Yes, this is fiber that feeds our traffic system.
Oh, okay.
So most of them, the way that it works is that we have a kind of a 2 major fiber loops that runs from City Hall to the garage, to the operations center, and then we have another loop that also goes back to Yankee Doodle garage. So this area in particularly is the ones for the 3rd taxing district, is all the fiber that leaves City Hall, runs down on East Avenue, goes into 4 Point and makes to the garage.
I just didn't realize we had our own dedicated line. Okay.
For the traffic system, yes.
Any other questions? Okay, very good. Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, that carries unanimously. Also, I will note that Ms. Young has joined us at 7:09. All right, item 3A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Avidi Excavators LLC for project TMP 2022-1 Sidewalks and Curbing, Highland Avenue, Safe Routes to School, Brookside Elementary School, and Brian Mcmahon High School for amount not to exceed $770,750. And item 3B, accounts noted, sorry. And item 3B, authorize the Director of Transportation, Mobility and Parking to execute orders on contract with Avidi Excavators LLC for project TMP 2022-1 Sidewalks and Curbing, Highland Avenue, Safe Routes to School, Brookside Elementary School, and Brian Mcmahon High School for an amount not to exceed $77,075. Accounts noted. Would someone like to move that, please? Ms. Shanahan moves the items. This is the contract. Item A is the contract for the sidewalks and curbing, and item B is the change order for contingency. It's a really important project, our Safe Streets to School. So if we can have some more information on that, Ms. Valadares, and I believe Mr. Bilella will join in the discussion.
Yeah.
So this is a GMP project. Those accounts sit with them. DPW just kind of assist them and put the package together and help with that. So we ended up getting 2 bidders for this one. So Avidi, it was the lowest. The other one was much higher than the one that we got. One good thing that I would like to mention is that because this is a smaller project compared to all our sidewalk projects in value, we were able to entertain 2 new bidders to it. What is good, we usually get the same contractors doing it, but this one in particularly, we got 2 new ones because of the size of the project. So instead of trying to make that as part of the sidewalk project and include that scope, we broke as a separate totally project, and we were able to get somebody else working independently, a different contractor. So Mr. Bilella is here. He can give you some more details about the limits of the project and what is the scope.
Yeah, thank you, Vanessa, and good evening, council members. So really excited to be here tonight. This has been a project that's a long time in the making, and it is a safe route school project for both Brookside Elementary School and Brian Mcmahon High School. So the project in total is approximately 1 mile of sidewalks, and 3/4 of a mile is on the east side of the roadway, and then there's another quarter on the other side of the roadway as well. And this has been a long time in the making. It includes a number of other features. So there'll be improved crosswalks as part of the project. There'll be a raised crosswalk just to the north of Brian Mcmahon School. We'll be incorporating some flashing beacons that are push button activated. So when students desire to cross the road, some flashers will illuminate on the side of the roadway, which have a very high compliance for yielding. We're adding a number of curb ramps throughout the corridor. I believe it was 22 in total, and all the sidewalks will be comprised of concrete curbing and asphalt sidewalks. In addition, so one of the things that we're making sure to work with the contractor is they'll be required to work around the school schedules. So they will not be allowed to start until after June 20th. And they will do all the work immediately adjacent to the frontages of those schools, both the elementary school and the high school, so that even though the project has a slightly longer duration, we will be out and limit our impacts to the actual school in the fall as well. And this project in its totality is building on what was done for Roten Elementary School to the south. So once we complete this, we'll have essentially that entire corridor completed, and then we'll be doing some improved school zone signage in the area as well. But I'm happy to answer any questions, and I also have Greg Bocelli, our transportation planner, who's been intimately involved in the project with us as well.
Thank you so much, Garrett. Mr. Livingston, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you. This is a great project. I'm really happy to see it move this way. I think you already said this, but I want to confirm that this will tie into the existing project and be the same style, right? Same concrete curb and asphalt sidewalk. So just match the whole way.
Looks like he froze.
He does look to be frozen.
Yeah, but that's correct.
Greg, can you
Yes.
explain?
Yes is the answer?
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yes is the answer.
Ms. Shanahan?
Well, you know, I can't help but ask about trees. Are there any trees added on this pathway? Do we know?
So Lisa, so as part of the project, I'll jump in for Garrett in this while he gets back on. But as part of this, we tried to keep the roadway width to about 30 feet. Basically, our ultimate goal is to incorporate, bi-directional dedicated bike lanes as much as we can. So in doing that, we're able to create amenity areas where we have put in a grass strip, where ultimately our goal is to get in street trees where we can and where it will be accessible to us. So once we get that grass strip defined and that amenity area where we can, we will look to, move as many obstructions out of the sidewalk and put that into the amenity area and put street trees as well where we could accommodate them.
Thank you.
I apologize. I might have lost connection, but I think Greg was able to answer Tom's question.
Yeah, we did lose you there for a minute, but yes, the question that Greg was answering was about trees, if trees are included in the.
Okay, great.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Yeah, I agree with Mr. Livingston. This is a great project. Any project around our schools, safe ways, safe streets to schools is very important. Things have changed over time where it used to be there was a 1 mile distance for walkers with the high schools, and now it's a 2 mile. So it's really important that our walkers and bikers are able to get to school safely. So I agree that this is a really important and great project. All right, so let's call for a vote. All in favor, raise your hand, please. Okay, opposed? Abstentions? All righty, that carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Okay, so that's it for new business for us. So moving on to the information and discussion part of the agenda. Under discussion, we have a couple project status reports. First on the Rowayton Avenue Bridge replacement. Vanessa, are you going to take that?
Yes. So I'm excited to tell you that we have our contractor already working. This is the second week that he's there. Actually, he started a little after Easter, so almost 3 weeks now. We're doing the bypass of the water and the sewer main. We have covered delivery date scheduled for the week of Memorial Day. So that week we should be receiving the culvert. And we're hoping that within 2 weeks after the delivery, we should be finalizing that project. So we have no surprises. We're moving along. Unfortunately, the culvert, that is really the big thing. We will be on site as of now on the week of Memorial Day. I believe as of now, we have pencil date as the Tuesday. Hasn't been confirmed yet, but that's what it should be. Besides that, no surprises. We already, before we relocate all the poles, we moved the wires, so all those things got out of the way, and now we're doing the water and the sewer. So when we really get the culvert, we'll be just pretty much finalizing the demolition that we hope to get it done the weekend before, and then install the culvert, finalize and pave. Usually we're assuming 2 to 3 weeks until all is completed after the culvert is delivered. I'll keep you guys posted, but I hope that I have very good news in our next meeting. We should be close to the end by June 7th.
Question, do you know what it was that caused the delay in the culvert delivery? Was it?
Well, I think that what happened, we even actually remember that we break the package in a way that we could place the order. So what happened is that we did everything that we could in advance to place the order. We hold our spotting line, but we couldn't really release the shop drawings until we had the permits in place. And this 2 weeks was pretty much related to the permit. So we had it our place line, but we really hold approval of the shop drawings because we didn't send to be manufactured in case we had to change the size of the culvert due to permit reasons. That's what it was.
All right, thank you. Any questions on that? All right. Okay, let's move on to paving, curbs, and sidewalks.
Okay, so I'll start with paving. So what we did as of now until 2022, we have Armstrong Place done and Highland Avenue from McKinley to Sammy's. That is complete. We regrade Rowayton Avenue, that is from McKinley to that private road, and the binder course went down today. Another thing that we did today was Rotten Avenue between McKinley to Wilson. We milled last Thursday, and then we pave today. And also what we did, it was Stop Sale Road today, portion of it we used that to use the test strips for our 3/4 inch mix. As you guys know, we test our mix, and after we get that tested is when we continue to with the paving program. So we have the approval for the 0.5 mix, and today we tested the 3/4. So we'll take a few days until we get the results, and after that gets approved is when we continue the paving. We're gonna go back this week to Rowayton to put the top course on it. We were supposed to pave yesterday, but we got pushed to today. So probably Thursday and Friday, we may be doing the top course there.
Vanessa, can I interrupt for a second on that
Sure.
project? Are you going to be putting curbs, concrete curbs on the, what is it, the east side? The side that's not done of the road on Rowayton Avenue.
I believe we get maybe asphalt curbs there. I
Okay.
think. I have to check. Tom, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Because I don't know exactly what it was before, but the rule of thumb is usually we put back what it was there. And then if it was concrete curb, we would have already installed, because most of the time we do cast in place, and usually that goes first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it just,
Yeah,
I know there's concrete curb, a good part of that, and some part doesn't even didn't have any curb.
so sometimes it doesn't, also for drainage purpose. We have to use some of the lawn to let the water drain into that, so it can be that as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but I'll double check and I'll give you an answer to you
All right,
later.
thanks.
No problem. Future scope for paving will be which, considering that we get all the approved mix, right? So it will be which lane from Rowayton to Hunt, Ridgewood Road, Crest Road, then Red Coat, Aviation, Indiana, Iris, Oak Hill, and then Primrose. So those are the ones that is on our future scope. And again, there is maybe a couple of changes in there, but that's what it is not really the order. It depends on what type of mix we have approved and where we're going to be with the milling, but that's our next. Now, in regards to sidewalks, we have 2 contractors in town. We have our 2020 contract that is Grasso. They are on Elmwood area. So that curb and sidewalk area is doing we're going very well. We're moving forward. We already did about 250 linear foot of curb from Golden Hill to Couch Street. And at the same time, we keep forming the sidewalk. The total of this project is about 3,800 of linear foot of curb and a 38 linear foot of sidewalk, and we're about 35% complete now. This work will usually take about 3 months until we're done with that. So as of now, we're expecting that we're gonna be done around June 17th for Elmwood. After that, we go back to the Plymouth, Harriet, and Freeman Center Avenue area, because we're waiting for the utility company to finish the conflicts that we have there. So as soon as we're done at Elmwood, hopefully they're done. They were supposed to start also this week, and then we move everybody back there and finish that sidewalk. Deering is at Soundview. They already finished the portion of Soundview that is from Flex Hill to Cliff. And now what we are working is on the Cliff portion of it, that this is also a design that we work with TMP to make that intersection ready. So we are almost finished there. And then that's the only thing that is finalizing. And then we also have another of Deering screw on the Osborne Cottage and Good Row area. They started demolition on April 22nd. And we have about granite curb, about a 700 linear foot installed. Again, this is also a big project. It's about 4,100 linear foot of curb and sidewalk, and we just started, so we're about 15% complete. We should be completed with this project towards the end of June. So that's what I have for paving, curb, and sidewalks. And just one last thing, we're still going on with our on-call drainage. So our crew is always ahead of all those areas that we have to fix. They're small point corrections, and it is ahead of them. One thing that we did last week is at Belden Hill, we were having issues with some groundwater that is really affecting all the asphalt there. And what we did was send our crew there, and we add some corrugated pipe and catch basins. That's on Belden Hill, right with the limits with Wilton. So that's all that I have for my project status. Do you guys have any questions?
I have one other. Vanessa, you mentioned you got the, I guess, the sidewalk team on Soundview off of Flax Hill. Are you going to be doing the paving from, I guess,
Yes.
up to, well, I'm talking about going up to Highland because it's pretty bad.
No, we're gonna stop as what we have planned for this year. We stop at Soundview because we do not gonna make it to Flax Hill, and I can explain the reason why as of now. There are a couple of things that is happening on Flax Hill. Flax Hill is a long road. Flax Hill is what we have in our paving forecast as an alternate, meaning we can add that to the scope anytime. The only reason why it's not there, we had a lot of things going on. So the two major things is that Eversource was doing their work there that they just finished, and then they still need to go back and really restore. What you guys are seeing that you're calling bad was like all our temporary patches, and now they're gonna go back and redo the things. They finalized that project right at the beginning of winter. The other thing is that TMP has a couple of projects for that area that they are trying to fund. And that's what we're waiting, and particularly on Highland and Flax Hill, and also on the intersection of Soundview and Flax Hill, that they want to try to change a little bit that area. We add 1 or 2 ADA ramps right at the corner, but they're considering about where that stop bar will go and all that. So we're just on standby to see if those projects will happen. Because if there is a change on the curb or on the grading, then we're not going to pave. So that's why Flax Hill is not on the list, but it's pretty much in the back burner. As soon as we have the opportunity, we're going to do it.
Great, thanks.
Ms. Johnson has a question.
Oh, thank you, Chair Smith, and thank you so much, Vanessa, for this great update. Just to clarify, and I apologize if I missed this, the work on Soundview is going to be done, or is it up to Soundview?
Sidewalk is completed. The only exception that is not completed is Cliff. So Soundview goes from Flax Hill all the way to Cliff. So the whole intersection at Cliff is being modified. So that is a TMP design and DPW incorporated in the project. So we're like 99% done there. We just have a little bit of things to finish. So after that, that whole sidewalk, I think that we were able to really connect, and that we had 2 issues that we thought that we wouldn't be able to build 2 sidewalks in front of 2 properties, but we'll work it out around. So there is a whole connectivity between Cliff and Flax Hill now.
Oh, that's
The
great.
thing that will come after will be the paving at Soundview. That also will come, it will happen. I do not have on the schedule, but we are waiting for this to be finalized so we can pave that road. But it's not on my short-term forecast, but it's definitely happening. It's part of the scope.
Thank you so much. I just asked because I've talked to some residents over there that remark about how Eversource digs up the street and then it becomes the patchwork that's hard to drive on. And so it's awesome to hear that's part of the process is being completed so we can get to that point where it sounds where it will be paved, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
I just want to also explain one thing about what we call about these patches and the trenches. I think it's important for everyone to understand. When a utility company or a contractor come and takes an encroachment permit so they can dig in the road, the requirement that we have is that they can only do a temporary patch to that trench. And the reason for that is that the trench will settle. We do not allow them to do a whole restoration, at least for a few months. They have to maintain that for a few years. And then remember, besides some exceptions, we take a restoration fee. We charge them based on the size of the patch, and eventually we use our patch contracts to go back and really redo that patch the right way. But the reason why the utility companies do not do a permanent patch is because we know that that will gonna settle. They have to do a full depth restoration. We have in our specifications exactly what they need to repair, but usually a trench will settle due to compaction. So that's why when people say, oh, they did a terrible job, it's not only that they did a terrible job, it's part of the phasing of the trenching. So we have to wait until it settles, then it's settled, then we go back, we do a full patch repair, full depth, with the money that we collect from the restoration, or depending on the utility, they go back and redo. And sometimes we ask them to pave curb to curb or curb to the center line. Or if it is a road that we know that we're going to do some milling or regrading, we ended up just going back and redoing it. So this settlement unfortunately does happen after we do some trench in our roadway.
Thank you so much, Ms. Elades, because that connects so many dots for me, but also for people who I've been talking to about, why the road might be in the state it's in after Eversource, for example, comes around.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
great.
Vanessa, just following up on that. So on Highland, after Eversource has been there, they're going to contribute to the cost of repaving, right? Or-
They're going to do it actually. So Eversource, we have a contract with them that instead of them paying for the restoration fee, they pave. And what we do, we extend the limits of their paving. So even if they do like the trench on one side, it's depending on how big it is, they have to go curb to curb on paving or curb to center line. It's a case by case. There is no rule. We see what they are doing. There are some times that we do not want them there. So it was the case of Highland. Highland, they finished. We know that the sidewalk project will come. And what we did, we ended up just collecting the fee, because we don't want them there now because we're going to do the work.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks very much for that explanation. It's really helpful to have that understanding. Any other
Okay.
questions before we move on? Okay, on to tree operations and programming. We have Chris Torrey here to go over that and talk about the wonderful Arbor Day celebration and tree planting at Merrimack last week, which was terrific.
That was awesome. But I do want to say one thing. Hello, council people, members. I grew up on Buddha Street. So when I was a kid, I grew up on Buddha Street, which is right around the corner from Cliff Street. There was no sidewalk on the right side of Cliff Street going down the hill. There is now. And I happened to drive by there the other day. And honestly, for the new council members and even the old council members, unless you grew up in that neighborhood, you really cannot appreciate the sidewalks and the effort that the council and the engineering department have put in to these communities that I'm sure felt forgotten in years past. So I just want to give credit to our engineering department from someone who grew up in South Norwalk. I applaud the effort of the sidewalks and the effort of the council. Thank you so much. Now I will move on to trees. During the last month, we removed 13 trees on school property, 4 maples, 1 pin oak, 3 cherries, 1 birch, 2 pines, and 1 tree of heaven. We did safety pruning on 11 parks property trees, 100 school property trees, and 20 right-of-way trees in the city right-of-way. I can give you the pruning species if you'd like, but that's pretty much all I have on trees. But I do have a good Will story on Woodchuck Court. I got a call this week, and one of our deputy tree wardens, not going to mention because he was doing his job and he did his job the right way, he posted 6 trees for removal because the homeowner wanted it, so he posted them. But the homeowner across the street didn't want them removed, and we removed the postings because, in my opinion, they will last 5 more years, and that's our threshold, and we will monitor it from year to year. So, having said that, I also this week did get a call from a Royton resident that asked why we removed any trees for the sidewalk on Royton Avenue at Bailey Beach. I haven't responded yet. I will respond accordingly after I speak to you guys. So we'll go from there with that.
We also planted trees, Chris. We planted 21 trees
Right.
this month, 18 on East Avenue and 3 at the school.
So having said that, we are close to my goal is to plant more trees than we remove, right? That's my short-term goal, and that's easily achieved, I think. We'll see, but our short-term goal is to plant more trees than remove. We'll be doing good once we get there. We're getting there. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. Unfortunately, on the next report, the solid waste report, unfortunately, our solid waste programs manager has moved on to a better position in New York, where she's from. I wish her all the best, but I do not have the food compost, the MSW, and the recycling report. I will give you both reports next month. It's just me and Delene doing Jessica's job, and this is the time that all the commercial accounts renew. So we're kind of busy doing that, and I apologize for not having that report for you guys for this meeting.
That's all right. We'll forgive you.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job with the trees, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And a special thank you for the no mow and May signs going up. Tom and I drove past one today. We were very happy to see it. And I saw that you sent me a text, but I'm gonna look at it later with other pictures.
Yes, I sent an email that was forwarded to me. Sorry, I totally spaced on the no mow. So there are 12 locations that we have agreed that we are not gonna mow for the whole month of May. We put signs out, there's pictures. I hope we do some good PR work with the Josh Morgan replacement. I'm sorry, I'm missing out on her name. But
Michelle.
So I'm hoping that we promote that, because again, this whole thing started with like 1 or 2 people, and now it's a lot of people, and it's the council is involved, and it's amazing to be part of it from the ground floor. So thank you guys for pushing through this agenda. And I know it's been hard because development and trees do not go in hand, but you guys are somehow making it work. So thank you.
We got to make it happen. Yeah. All right. Any other questions for Chris? All right. So that brings us to the end of the agenda. I just want to make one remark before we adjourn, which is just a note for the public that on during the Common Council meeting of May 24th, we will have a presentation from our Chief of Public Works, Anthony Carr, on the current flood mitigation projects that are going on around town, just an update on where those projects are at, as well as an additional presentation by Woodard and Curran about the flood problems and what might be able to be done over on New Canaan Avenue and the Ponus Avenue area. So they're going to lay out a few possibilities for us. So that'll be at the May 24th Common Council meeting. And that being said, if there's nothing else, I will Miss Shanahan.
Motion to adjourn. I only win that game at this meeting.
I know.
You used to do it all the time.
I know. Well, Diana's taking it over, so I just conceded defeat.
That's all right. That's all right. You got it here. All right.
Record time, Barbara.
I know.
Under an hour.
Yes, we can go eat our dinner. All right.
All right.
Very good. Good night,
Thank
everyone.
you so much.
Bye.
Good night.
Thanks.
Thank you all.